Hello everyone, it's Professor Fernandez here, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the response essay. If you're thinking what type of essay that is, you may have actually done this essay perhaps in a previous class. You may have done a version of this essay probably on social media. But essentially what a response essay is that you are responding, you're reflecting on something and responding to something. So you're giving your opinion on something in a very organized way. So I'm going to go ahead and start this lesson here because I want you to do really well on this particular essay. It's a seemingly simple essay, but it's deceptively so in that there's a lot of moving pieces. So by now, you probably have already seen what your assignment is for your response/reflective essay. You will hear me say response and reflective essay interchangeably during our time with this particular type of essay. So if you hear me say reflective essay, I mean the response essay and vice versa. So this is what you're going to need for this particular lesson. You're going to have to read or watch the piece that you're responding to. Like I said earlier, you already have your assignment sheet for your first essay. It should be somewhere where you can actually see it. And in that assignment sheet, it tells you what you're going to need to respond to. So you're going to have that piece, and you're going to have annotated that piece or be in the process of annotating that piece. And what annotation means is just a fancy word to say notes. You want to take notes on your piece. You're going to want to see it a couple times, of course, but you're going to want to take notes. And some of the things that you're going to want to make sure that you're understanding and make sure that you're writing down are things that stand out to you, things you may agree with, things you don't agree with, things that don't make sense, maybe certain things, phrases, ideas that lead to other things that made you think of other things that are related. So those things you may want to jot down, make sure you write them down because they may be the basis for your essay here. So you're also going to want to have discussed or considered the piece that you're responding to, and we'll talk a little bit about discussing this piece with your fellow students here. And you also need to think that this is a thinking essay. This is not I'm going to react on this. You're going to watch it, think about it some more, react, write, revise, turn it in. Right? So there's a lot of little steps here. So I want to talk about what reflection actually means and what the response to a reflection actually means as a thought, idea, or opinion formed or remark made as a result of meditation. And what I want to emphasize there is meditation, the thought behind it. Again, this is a thinking essay. It is not okay, this is where I put the sentence here, and then this is a topic sentence, and this is a subtopic sentence. There's stuff like that here in this particular essay, but you really need to start from a place of thinking, of having formulated an opinion by meditation. It also means a consideration of some subject matter, idea, or purpose. And so, just like it sounds, you're responding to a piece of work or piece of rhetoric, and rhetoric is anything that is written or said that gives an argument, right? So short stories are rhetoric. So are opinion pieces in the newspaper, that's rhetoric. Movies are rhetoric. So you also have to think about that this requires you to summarize the piece and to put the piece in context. And what context means is that you want to give some idea of where this idea came from. Context is a difficult concept to explain, but it's a much easier concept to show. For example, one really good idea I heard about context. Say that you are asleep in your bed and someone takes an axe, knocks down your door, and drags you from your bed. So without anything, you think that that's a bad thing, right? Without any context. But if someone's chopping down your door, dragging you from your bed because there is a fire in your house and you were asleep, the fact that there's a fire in your house gives you context, and now you know that that's a good thing, right? So that's what context is. It's not even, I wouldn't even call it background, but the additional things you need to know around something that kind of informs you. You also want to react to this piece from your personal experiences. So it's one thing to say, this is a good thing, this is a bad thing, but it's another thing entirely to say, this is a good thing because of this experience that I had, or this is a bad thing because of this experience that I had. So you also want to respond to specific things from whatever you're going to be responding to. It's not necessarily you're going to be responding to the entire video or the entire movie or the entire thing that you're going to talk about. You want to respond to specific, maybe a thought, a line, something, right? And I say here that it makes the world a better place. Maybe, maybe not, but possibly the process of doing a response essay kind of makes the world a better place. So let's talk about some steps of doing this essay. So first of all, you have to realize that you're doing an essay. And so that's kind of you're halfway there. So step one, realize that you're doing this essay and you're going to analyze what the piece is about. So you're really going to take it in. You're going to watch the video. You're going to read the story. You're going to do what you need to do. You're going to annotate. So you're going to take notes and you're going to wonder what the piece is about. What is it trying to say about the topic or the theme that it's addressing? How is it making its point? Is it using a lot of stories? Is it using a lot of information or data? Is it considering the audience that it's talking to? And what specifically do you want to react to? You want to take a couple of things that you want to react to. And we'll have an example here in a second. I want you to note that it's okay to talk about this piece with other classmates. And I don't want you to think that, oh, I have to do this in a vacuum. If you are in my online class, I know this is a little bit more difficult than if you're in my face-to-face class. But hopefully through discussion boards and Flipgrids and video conferencing, you get a chance to talk to other people, or at least have one-on-ones with people about what you guys are talking about, what you guys saw. So the next thing you want to do, you want to think about what you actually think about the piece. And this is where you're going to be doing a lot of thinking. Do you agree with them or do you not agree with them? Why or why not? And that's very important, since you're probably going to use that to write an entire paragraph or 2 or 3. So what is the thing actually saying? What is going on now that is reflected in this piece? How did the writer or artist handle it? So you want to ask these bigger questions. It's not just, do I agree or disagree? Why or why not? What is it about what they're saying that you disagree with specifically? And why do you disagree with that? Is there a story? Is there data? Do you know that they're liars? I don't know. It's pretty much why. So again, this is a reflective piece. This is a thinking piece. And throughout this whole process, you'll be thinking the entire time. Now, I want you to take a break here, and I want you to listen to me very carefully. It is not your job to say if something is well done or not. In fact, it's never your job to say something is well written or not well written. Your job is to say whether you agree with it or not. To disagree with something because it's not well written is not a disagreement. What are they trying to say? Your responding to what they're saying, not how they're saying it. Also, for this particular essay, you'll be able to use first person, and it's the only essay for the semester that you'll be able to use first person. And when I say first person, I mean the word I. However, that comes with a caveat. When you're writing the summary, and we'll talk about that in a minute when I'm talking about the organization of this essay, when you're giving a summary of it, you're not going to give I, or you're not going to write the word I. The reason why is because a summary just tells me what's going on. It doesn't give me your opinion. So there should be no reason to use the word I or to use first person in that part of the essay. It's the only essay where this is the caveat, where you're allowed to use first person. For the rest of the essays of the semester, you're only allowed to use third person. All right, let's go to the third step here. So you're going to outline your paper. And so you've probably have done this in past English classes, the outlining, and have turned in the outlines for a grade. This is college. I am not interested in how you've put it together. I am interested in the execution of the essay. So I'm never going to ask you to write an outline and turn in the outline. However, I am going to say that writing an outline for the paper helps a lot of students do much, much better. And there's several ways to outline a paper. You can outline it in chunks. For example, paragraph by paragraph. This is what I'm going to talk about in this paragraph versus what I'm going to talk about in this paragraph. You can outline it line by line. So this is my topic sentence. This is what's coming after my topic sentence. This is my description. These are the sentences I'm going to write for my critical analysis. You can write just an outline for just the three paragraphs where you'll be giving your opinion. Some people just do that. Some people write a full thesis so that they know where parts of their thesis will be in the paper. So there's lots of different ways to write an outline. But what I do recommend is writing one and doing some pre-writing and some planning. So I know sometimes that you guys like to do things at the last minute. It happens. But taking 10 minutes just to pre-plan helps you in the long run. I know you want to rush through it, but if you take 10 minutes, 20 minutes to plan it and say, this is what I'm going to write. This is how long I'm anticipating it will take. I'm going to write this paragraph on this day and this paragraph on this day. Then it's a lot easier to write. And of course, outlines aren't formal. They just have to work for you. Again, I'm not going to see this. It's not for me to see. I grade the execution of your essay, not the planning and prepping of it. So talking about outlines, here's a possible outline for your essay. You will have 6 paragraphs in this essay. And let's go through them. Of course, your first paragraph is going to be an intro paragraph. I'll talk more in depth about this paragraph here in a second. This paragraph introduces the essay. Don't underestimate the intro paragraph, and don't limit the paragraph to just your thesis statement. I like a nice, robust intro paragraph. If your intro paragraph has anything less than 4 sentences, it's not an intro paragraph. Then on paragraph 2, you're going to write a short paragraph to summarize the work that you are responding to. You're just going to hit the highlights. I don't want a lot of detail in it. You're just going to hit the most important things. And when I say short, I don't mean 3 sentences. I don't even mean 5 sentences. I'm not going to tell you how many sentences, but I am going to say you should write enough to where you feel that the sentence is hefty enough that I understand that you actually read or watched the thing that you were going to watch, and not so long that you are actually transcribing what they said. There's a sweet spot there. I'll let you figure that one out. Then paragraphs 3, 4, and 5 are your typical body paragraphs. You're going to pick 3 things that you want to talk about. In each one of those paragraphs, talk about one thing each that you saw in that video or read in that story that you want to talk about. You can use examples from the piece. And again, you can use the word I. This is also where you will give your opinion. So we'll talk about this in a minute. And then, of course, paragraph 6 is your conclusion. You wrap everything up in a pretty bow.